it's going to get a little bit weirder in the future. And if you take advantage of it right now, then you might get a good, then you might get ahead very quickly. If you're an intern in a star architect place, you have to work for free and you just have to pay your expenses. Why? Because the name of that person, that star architect or that office is going to go, and that's going to elevate your status. And I don't think it's quite like that. And if we want to maybe unbox it a little bit more and see, which aspects or where do I get my income from specifically within Show It Better.
Subscribe to BlessedArch for your dose of art, architecture, and design, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Hey yo guys, welcome back to BlessedArch. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, social media has exploded within the last decade or so. There are so many social media influencers. There are so many YouTubers out there in the world covering so many different topics. Even when we talk about architecture or design related contents, in the past few years, there have been so many YouTubers, so many social media pages that have come up. So from time to time, even I get a lot of messages from smaller pages, from smaller YouTubers who are trying to talk to me, who want to understand how this works. How do you create a page? How can you get a bigger amount of audience? When do you start making money? How much money can you really make from it? These are all questions that would go through your head if you're thinking of starting a page, if you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, and you just really want guidance about what to do and how it works. Well, I'm really grateful that you've brought all your questions to me, but you know what? It can be more helpful to get somebody else. Today in this video with me, I have Steven, the creator of the page and the YouTube channel, Let's Show It Better. Now, if for some bizarre reason you do not know what I'm talking about, Show It Better is an Instagram page and a YouTube channel geared towards teaching you guys architectural representation and how to do it better. The Instagram page of Let's Show It Better has 263k followers, and even the YouTube channel is very, very close to 200k. So Steven graciously agreed to be on this channel and share with all of us tips on how to make a successful page and a successful channel. So without further ado, let's go and talk to Steven. Hey Steven, how are you?
Great, Rishab. Thank you for the invitation. How are you?
I am great as well. It's great to have you on this channel, and thank you so much for agreeing to be here.
No, I'm very glad to be here. I've been a fan of BlessedArch recently, but I think you are doing great things, and I look forward to seeing some more and maybe collaborating in the future. So thank you for the invitation.
So even our chat today, I want to revolve it around, social media and creating a page like yours, and a page that so many of us love on Instagram, and creating amazing content on YouTube. So I wanted to gear our conversation around that, like how did you get started and how did all that come into being. But before we get to that, I want to get to know you better. So where are you from? Where did you graduate from, and when did you graduate?
I am from Colombia, from Bogota, Colombia. For those of you that don't know, it's located in South America. I studied architecture in 2010. I started studying architecture in 2010 in the university. It's called University La Gran Colombia, which means University the Great Colombia. And I also studied in Argentina for a year in the University of Buenos Aires. And I also started my master's degree in the National University of Colombia, which is also located in Bogota. And yeah, I graduated from my undergraduate degree around 2015. That's basically it.
Do you work as an architect right now as well?
Well, the majority of my time is invested right now in Show It Better and in similar projects that are coming in the future. Like I think about 20% of my time would be invested in competitions that I participate, like in local competitions and also in international competitions. But like 80% to 70% of my time is dedicated for now to Show It Better.
Speaking of Show It Better, when did you actually start your Instagram and YouTube pages?
I think if you go to YouTube, the official date would be like July of 2016 or something. But the first video that I uploaded was around September of that same year of 2016. So in September 2016 was like the the actual birth of Show It Better. It was through YouTube, and then eventually, I think about 2 or 3 years after that, the Instagram started taking off as well. So the Instagram is a little bit more recent than the YouTube channel. That's why people that come from YouTube know me like much before. The origin was in 2016.
Speaking of the content that you post through your channels, first of all, talk to me about what type of content you like to post on Instagram and on YouTube.
Well, Show It Better is an online educational platform dedicated to teaching architects everything related to architectural representation. So, what I try to do, or what the Show It Better team tries to do, is that in Instagram, it tries to educate on a more general level on the importance of representation and where you can see it implied in the architectural realm and outside of it. So, for example, in a week we could have a post about biographies of architects. We could also have post on analysis of movies, and we could also have graphic design tutorials on Instagram. So on maybe how to use a grid, how to use typography, and that is what you would find mostly on Instagram. And then on YouTube, there are more like 10 to 15-minute kinds of videos where it's a more deep dive into more technical aspects of architectural representation. So, for example, how to create a diagram, how to create a color palette for your representations. Then we also have some videos of analysis of drawings, or what is composition. It's a wide range of things that depending on the platform, it can vary. You won't find the same thing on YouTube that you can find on Instagram, but it's just different things accommodated to each platform.
My journey was similar. I think YouTube for me also came first, and then it was Instagram. My Instagram handle was actually my personal account, and then I converted it into a sort of just a BlessedArch account and separated my personal account from it. But I think this is a question that a lot of people might have, and let's talk a little bit about the monetary side of it. So, as you told me that 80% of your time goes into Show It Better. Talk to me about income that you derive from your pages. Was there a point where you were doing something else and your page together, and then you switched over to your page, or did from the start you stick to committing your time to your page?
No, this started much more as a hobby. Like from 2016, I knew that I wanted it to become, in some near future, a full-time job, or maybe a part-time job that gave me enough money or enough income to relax and not be so hesitant about working in offices and working until 12 9-hour shifts, etc. But in reality, I started in 2016, and from 2016 to 2019, I think through the majority of what you guys have seen of Show It Better, it's I have always had it as a part-time job, and I've always had like a full-time job in offices in various parts. It's just until the beginning of this year of 2020 that it's a full-time job. So before, I had a kind of like a side income, like a passive income, where I would get some revenue from the ads of YouTube, which honestly it's very, very low. I would
Very
get some
little.
revenue, some revenue from the products that I was selling. If I was doing a tutorial on Photoshop, and I would sell that PST file, and it was just many little things. And there's an expression here in Colombia: it's for the buses. It's only for the bus ride. It can only amount to, it's like such a little amount that it's just for getting candy for grocery shopping, but not like to sustain a living. But eventually, as time passed, as I saw that it could be taken much more seriously as a business, that people were willing to invest in their education, and specifically in their education of architecture representation, I thought that if people are investing in that, then why am I not offering much more of what I know, giving much more value of what I know? And that's where I started creating courses. I started taking YouTube videos much more seriously, selling products much more seriously. Starting from this year, I could say that my income is fully from Show It Better. From time to time, I have separate income, like maybe some consulting jobs on the side, some competitions. But the majority of the time, the most consistent right now is the income from the Show It Better page. And if we want to maybe unbox it a little bit more and see, which aspects or where do I get my income from specifically within Show It Better. A very small portion would be of ad revenue. So for those of you that don't know, the ads that go on the YouTube videos before and after in the middle, they give us like a dollar for every 1,000 views. So that's a small portion from that. Then I have product selling, which I have brushes, I have PNG human figures. I have the PSD files, the work files of each tutorial. I also have a Patreon page where there's a community of, I think right now, if I'm not wrong, about 100 people. No, I think maybe less, maybe about 60 people, where there are different tiers and people try to support the Show It Better project, but they also get the real-time videos of each tutorial and the project file. So for example, in some videos on YouTube, I try to condense it and synthesize it as much as possible into a 10-minute video. Like say for example, how to animate your renders in After Effects. But obviously, this is not fully understood in only 10 minutes if you're new to After Effects, if this is the first time you saw the program. So what I do is I record the 1 hour, 2 hour long videos, and I upload them on my Patreon channel so people can view the step-by-step of that process, and they can learn much more than what they will be able to learn in a 10-minute video. And they can also have access to the project file. So Patreon is also another source of income. Then we have sponsorships. So the majority of sponsors, I have had sponsors like Lumion, like Enscape, where they reach out to me so I can talk about their software or their new version of the software, or sponsors like Skillshare, etc. So those sponsorships also can amount to a certain, to maybe, I'm not sure what the percentage is specifically, but it's a rather bigger amount than the AdSense revenue. And then after that, I have people are interested in working with me specifically in the visualization realm. So they want me to create maybe a video. They might want me to create maybe some renders, some specific things. So they reach out to me, and that is more like personal income. Oh, my courses. I'm so stupid. So I have courses. I have I think about 4 courses out now, and some of them are in Spanish and English, and the majority of them are in English. So I have courses on specific things like how to create a site plan, how to create the best presentation boards, how to create visualizations with only Photoshop, etc. So all of these courses are also a huge portion of the revenue as well. And they're, in-depth courses with 3 hours, 4 hours of content where people can, also have access to the files, etc. So I think those would be the main sources of revenue right now that I can think of. I think I'm not forgetting any, but those are more or less the sources of income for Show It Better.
So a lot of people, when they start their pages, when they start their YouTube channels, sort of come to me asking me, when can they start expecting money from it? When did it start for you? You started when we talk about the YouTube ads revenue as well, which is very little. People don't realize, a lot of people think that YouTubers through their ads make a lot of money, like all over the world, but it's not so. And it's also different for different countries. Like if you make content in the US, if you make content in the Norway, and if you make content in India, you'll be earning variable. Like it's very, very different how much you'll be earning from the ads revenue. So when did you sort of start earning a good amount from the YouTube, especially ad revenue part? And when I say good amount, I mean as good as it can get.
I uploaded my first video on YouTube on September, and around December, my Google AdSense appeared on 0.04 cents. So as soon as I had that, I was like, I made it. I made it. I have 0.04 cents. That is everything I need to know. So if I did from September to December, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos, then I just need to make double that or triple that, and I would have maybe $5, and so on and so forth. So I was very excited to see that. But the sad thing was that I don't know if that is still like that, but AdSense only gave me like the actual money when I passed $100. So I had to wait for the $100 to pass, that which was like in July. So actually it was like 6 months without actually receiving money from what I was creating. It's really like, if anyone is interested in this, it's really about patience. That's about it. Patience and consistency are like the two words you have to have in your mind always, because if you're doing it for instant money, then it's not going to be as useful, because there's no instant money. I like, after I started receiving monthly payments of YouTube, at first they were they're generally very small. It could be sometimes from $20 to $30, which is actually nothing. I didn't really depend on that money, but I think maybe around 2017, around 2018, which I made much more videos and much more consistent. I think I was very excited when I had a AdSense check at the end of the month for, I think, $1,000. So as soon as I saw that $1,000, I was like, oh man, this is so crazy. I don't know. I'm going to. I was very excited. You realize that it can vary from month to month. It's not like I have every month I have $1,000. Every month I have $5,000. Or 10,000, whatever. Sometimes it can be very, very good depending on the time of the year, which may be December, and the end of the year sometimes is very good for YouTubers, because there's much more ads on videos, and there's much more. The ads are better paid for than in January or February. So it kind of varies with a ton of conditions, like what you said, like what country you're doing it to, and also what topics you are talking about. So maybe if we were talking about finance, we would be like drowning in money right now. But since we're talking about architectural representation, it's just like such a very, very small niche
Yeah.
that I'm just amazed that anyone sees it at all. Like, if it's a very, very small niche, to be honest. So the ads, or the ads are worth much less than what it would be if I was, I don't know, a beauty blogger or something. So I think I don't have a problem with that, honestly, because that's what I want to talk about. I love talking about representation, about architecture, and if in AdSense terms that represents less money than another subject, then it's up to me to find out, where I could get much more revenue from, and obviously it's not going to be Google AdSense.
So that is one thing also, like when you start your page, when you start your channel, it takes a bit of while, and it takes patience. And that is why I tell people as well, is when they ask me, when I already have, sort of a college work or this work or that work, I'm like, but this is the only way it works. Like, you have to put in the time. You have to sort of try and balance time every day, and you need to if this is really what you want to do, for a little while it gets a little difficult, where you have to sort of keep a side hustle and work on it as well. And then eventually it always, when you put in the effort, it always yields to something. But there is a patchy phase in between for anybody who wants to pursue this as well. There is a phase in between where you'll have to sort of think about your income sources, because YouTube and Instagram at that time, at that whatever following you're on, would not yield as much. It'll be like a bus ride ticket and not living expenses.
Yeah, of course. I like to think of it as, or maybe when people try to ask me for some tips, I'll try to maybe like draw a diagram or a chart for them, where at the beginning of the diagram, if this is like the time, you would have the amount of work put in, and at the beginning it would be like very, very high. You have to put a lot of work and with no money. But as soon as the time advances, then the amount of work that you put in could be less, and the amount of money could be more, because this is all, the work that you put in the beginning is always going to be there and is always going to make you generate much more revenue. So just think of it like this: if you work really hard for 2 to 3 years, and not worry so much about the money, then maybe the next 6 years are going to be much more reassured that if you just work a little bit and then start worrying about money each month, each day, and you're obviously not going to see money. So it's patience and work. If anyone wants to find the secret, and the secret is this: patience and work, nothing else.
All right. So I wanted to talk about your team. So you told me like till July you were alone, and now you have two people working with you. In the future, what are your plans? Are you planning to expand this, and are you willing? Also, are you willing to take in more interns, like who would want to work with your page?
Well, this is kind of like the eternal dilemma of the influencer, because once you start getting into this, you realize that it's only like the amount of money or the amount of things you generate and the amount of value you put in is only like proportional to the amount of work you put in. So the more work you put in, the more money you can get, the more this can be sort of turn into a business. And you want to do that, but you don't have the money yet to hire more people. You don't have the time yet to create more content. And it's an eternal dilemma that I had for majority of the life of Show It Better until July of this year, where I just kind of risked it. I was like, all right, I mean, I want to create more content, but seriously, I just can't do it all. And I want to challenge myself to see how I would be working with a team, because honestly, it's a real challenge. And working with someone, telling someone like, hey, I like that yellow better. I like this typography more. I like, let's talk about these subjects. It's very hard. So in July, I was like, all right, let's do it. And I hired two people, one for both of them are part-time jobs. So they're not in it full-time, but they are creating the content for Instagram, and it's a Show It Better instructor as well for the premium courses. I've really been really, really grateful. It's the best thing that could happen. It's obviously it slows down your revenue a little bit because you're investing in someone, but I think that we're gonna see the value like in the future, and I'm totally positive of that. I hope that in the future I can have maybe some interns, but I really have a dilemma as well with the interns, because a lot of people like message me through Instagram like, hey, I want to be your intern. It doesn't worry if you don't pay me for 6 months. I would work for you for free for 3 months or whatever, but I don't like that culture. I don't like that architecture culture that we have constructed and that we keep on constructing. It's just
Same.
it's just not for me. I don't like it, and I am trying to push it out. I'm trying to be like the best boss that I can be. And if someone is like overwhelmed by things, or if someone in the team is overwhelmed, then I'm just like, all right, let's just not do it. Let's just try to think about another way of doing it. And it also goes with the hours that you try to work in, and obviously being well paid. I think if you are well paid in a job, and this is not obviously only me, but I have worked in many architectural offices here in Bogota, Colombia, and the majority of them follow the same model of offices around the world in the architectural realm. And the majority of the culture is that you have to, as an intern, maybe if you're an intern in a star architect place, you have to work for free, and you just have to pay your expenses, and you have to create models. You have to work 10-hour shift, 12-hour shifts. And why? Because the name of that person, that star architect or that office, is going to go into your CV, into your portfolio, into your curriculum, and that's going to elevate your status. And think I don't think it's quite like that. I don't think it works like that. I don't think it's the best way, and I think we can change it, and I want to change it. So I don't want to hire anyone for free. And when I hire interns, I want them to be like a really good, really well paid interns for the job that they do. So I think I could talk about this because I think it kind of frustrates me that so many people are just at 24 years old, 23 years old, working so much without any quality of life for free with people that are kind of abusive. And I think we have to start changing that culture.
A lot of people come to me also talking about, we want to work for you, or do you take interns, or it, and I tell them, see, right now, and that is why I still have a job, because it is not completely, I cannot derive that much money from my pages and my Instagram and YouTube that much. And that's why I still have a job. And so right now I cannot afford to take on another person. And a lot of people tell me we'll do it for free. My basic answer is I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable with somebody working for me for free. All right, let's come to our last question. And because we've talked about a lot of things already, but what would be your advice to new vloggers or people who start a social media page? What would be your one golden advice that you'd like to give?
Oh my gosh, I have so much things to say. Seriously, first of all,
All right, not just one, like a couple.
yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna rant on, and whatever you guys want to take, it's okay with me. So first of all, I think a lot of people, or it happened with me, are stuck at that dilemma of, oh my gosh, I am already a graduated architect, or I'm going to be a graduated architect, and I'm just going to finish up ending making videos. Like, what did I study 5 years for this? Did I, this is like a dilemma that people have, a question that have like wasn't I like, according to the script of the architect, I'm supposed to go into an architecture office, or I'm supposed to be a teacher. Why am I mean, if I'm not doing that, then I'm not an architect. Well, my advice would be first to question, like, is that what only architects do? Like, do they only have to go through those jobs to be certified architects? What do you want to do? Like, if you don't feel comfortable in certain parts of the architecture worlds that have been created until now, like, for example, the office world, that maybe the construction part of it, or maybe you're more interested in investigation, maybe you're more interested in theory, maybe you're more interested in educating, or whatever, then be self-aware of that. Be self-aware. Ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, all right, if I do this, it's valid, I'm an architect. And if I take it seriously as I would take any other job, then you are an architect. So first of all, I would suggest for you to get out of that dilemma and start accepting that there are new job roles that are going to be created within the next 20 years. And jobs are going to be much more different, much more rare. And if this seems rare, it's going to get a little bit weirder in the future. And if you take advantage of it right now, then you might get ahead very quickly, because maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years, everyone is going to have an idea of, maybe I want to be the next Show It Better, I want to be the next Rashab, I want to be the next, etc. And it's going to be a more saturated market. I can assure you of that. So, solve your dilemma quick. Like, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? After you solve that, then put in the work that we've talked about. Work every day. If you want to create content daily for Instagram, minimum weekly for YouTube, and be patient. Be patient, because if you're doing it for the money, then it's not going to be as easy. I mean, obviously we all want to have a good life. We all want to have that cell phone, that car. We all want to have, that nice quality of life where we can go on vacation, but it's not all about that. I mean, it's about that, but that's not the end. It's just one of the things that can come out of this. It can be lucrative if you work hard. If you work, once every 2 years, if you put a video once every 2 months, then don't expect it to become something. Don't ask yourself like, why is it not succeeding? Well, it's because you're not working enough. So the answer is in one of those things. Like if you're going to ask Rashad, you're going to ask me like, how do I create a great platform? Then the answer would be like, all right, are you posting enough? And if your answer is yes, then maybe the question would be like, are you being patient enough? And you have to analyze those two answers and see, all right, so I'm patient, I'm working, let's just wait and see what happens. So I think we could get much more specific, but I think that's for another time, which will also be a very interesting conversation. But for now, I would say just work and be patient.
And that's pretty sound for anybody who wants to come in the social media realm. Is you have to sort of put in the work, and you have to be patient, and don't expect to sort of go viral. There are very few things. There are loads of creators in the world, and there are very few, a very, very small percentage that actually just goes viral and gets like loads of followers and loads of subscribers very, very quickly and very, very easily. But usually that is not what happens, and so that is not a model that somebody should just strive for. It is basic work, and this is what Lily had said in one of her videos as well. Her success was not an overnight success, that it was a bedrock of videos that she created, and she said this, that if it's an overnight success, then it's very easy to topple you as well, because that one video is what made you. So it is not that when you put your next video it'll go the same. And so if you're standing on just one foundation, your building is not very, very stable. You need to put in loads of columns in, you need to put in that foundation, and then when you create the building on top of it, it'll be a much stronger, much stable platform for you to stand on.
Yeah, and the majority of people are very grateful when you're creating content, because it's not, not everyone wants to do this, and people notice, people realize if you've put a lot of work in, a lot of hours in something, and they let you know, or maybe they just show up. So I have people that I have been commenting from my first videos, and I talk to them on the daily right now, because they have been here with 4 years with me, and they're just like, all right, Steven, thank you for the video, or I don't think that was a good video, but keep on hustling, whatever.
Yeah.
So people notice, and people are grateful. And I think once you get those comments that are like, all right, thank you, like this, like throughout all my university, your video saved me, then it's just a game changer. I mean, it doesn't have an actual monetary value when people say that. So that can also kind of like feed your soul as well. If the money is not going to feed it, then the people that are going to be there grateful for your content it's totally overwhelming. It's kind of like important to them, to architects. When we see a nice diagram, we are so pleased. We're like, oh my gosh, the colors, the line quality, everything, and we like seeing nice drawings.
And what you said about being introverted, so a lot of people assume, so I am sort of like this. I
don't think you're such an introvert like the majority of us. I wouldn't.
No,
I don't think so.
That is what the assumption is.
There were followers that were much more interested in the content, and they weren't just expecting like 4 images a day of random Instagram pages, but they were expecting the biography of someone that was done by Show It Better. I haven't seen like consistent videos of hers, but I know of her and like of all her journey, and I think it's so crazy and so inspirational. And I would also like, I'm also like,
she's on my vision board somewhere. She's on it.
Yeah, I remember about your vision board. I saw it in your video.
I made a new one also. I put her here also. And yeah, that is it. Thank you so much, Steven, for taking out the time. It was an amazing conversation to have with you today. And I love the advice that you gave. And thank you so much for all of it.
No, thank you, Rashab, for first of all creating the space for us to talk and for people to get value out of it is very important. We need to have more of these conversations. We need to, like, we have the mediums, we have the space, and we just need to talk to each other, amongst influencers, amongst architects, once we talk to each other more, we can start creating a community. And I think that's what might be the most interesting thing out of this, where I know you, I know your public gets to know me, my public gets to know you, and we just get to teach more, educate more, entertain more, and just be more interesting, I think. So thank you for the invitation, and maybe I would look forward to talking to you in the future about many more things. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of your Instagram content, to your YouTube content, and whatever you have in store. I'm looking forward to it.
And that was it, you guys. I really hope you guys like this conversation and really got something from it. If you have any thoughts, any questions, anything, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up, do share this video, do subscribe to BlessedArch, and also, if you can, do consider supporting this page on Patreon. You can also access the rest of the conversation that I had with Steven on my Patreon page. The link will be in the description below. Also, in the description below, I will have links to Steven's page, his YouTube channel, his courses. So go down below and check all of that out. And with that, we've come to the end. I will see you guys soon with more content. Bye-bye.